Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Today on Collection of Lessons, I want to talk about understanding risk to reward. It's part of my collection lesson series. Anything I say in this channel is not anything advice. And let's get into it. So, let's keep the momentum going from the last spicy video. I was getting a little heated and a little excited. I'd take my shirt off because it was so hot. It's so exciting. And let's continue on. So, understanding risk to reward. I know I talk a lot about it in, numbers, financial, gambling, risk-taking, money. It's usually related to money. It might not be related to money. So when I talk about understanding risk to reward, I got some interesting, graphs looking like a thing here. And whoa, that's cool. And it's basically what I'm trying to show is what you're risking worth the reward? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it? Right? And just to get into some situations, right? First, we'll start with some very basic, simple, things, right? Like when you get up in the morning, right? You take a risk when you get out of bed, right? It's like you could fall out of bed. You could. The risk is really low, but it's like it's worth it to get out of bed, right? The reward is you get the entire day to yourself. You get to eat, you get to sleep, you get to play video games, you get to watch me, you get to do whatever. So that would be a situation where the risk is very low, such as this situation. Red means risk. Low risk, high reward. That's what you want in all situations. You get into other ones where it's like, I'm in a basement right now, and I know I'm going to have to go up the stairs, and there's a risk and a chance that I'm going to stub my toe on the stairs. But it's worth it. Even if I do it, even if I stub my toe, even if it happens, it's worth it. Because I can go upstairs, I can enjoy time with the kids, I can eat, I can play, I can watch YouTube, I can do whatever I need to do, right? The reward is there. Now you get into like more, let's just increase the risk here a little bit. And it's like, well, now I need to go for, a drive. I need to go for a car ride to pick up the kids or whatever, right? I need to go get food at the restaurant or grocery store. And it's like, there's a risk to that. But the reward is I get to continue living, I get to eat, I get to see my kids, I get to do whatever I need to do. So the risk is, in my opinion, really low. Still, in this first box here on the left, the big green one with the red one on the bottom, risk to reward is still very low. It's worth it. And then let's increase the risk. Well, it's like you get in the car, do I put on the seatbelt or not? Well, legally you have to. And is the risk of not putting on the seatbelt and the reward greater if I don't do it? Well, it's like there's not really any reward to not put on the seatbelt. So it's like the risk of having it is very high. So there's there's literally like no reward. So it's like the green is like there's a little bit of reward and lots of risk if you don't put on the seatbelt. So it's like, why would you do that, right? You might as well, right? The risk is high of something bad happening with the seatbelt, not having it, I guess, and there's like no reward. So it's like, on this one, you do it. You'd put it on, right, to reduce your risk, right? So that your risk becomes very, small, like this one. This is like something you do versus something you don't do. It's like, are you living here? This is where you come into the equation of go up the stairs, don't go up the stairs, put on the seatbelt, don't put on the seatbelt. It's like, are you here? Or are you entering a risk reward up here? It's like, you don't really want this. You don't want this to happen. So it's like, it's a pretty much a given that you're going to put on your seatbelt. Legally or not, it's worth it, right? Everyone can see that. So it's like, if you think about this, let's say at a job, it's like, how are you doing at your job? Do you enjoy your job? Is your job paying well? Is it good? Do you enjoy it? Or is there another opportunity that you could take that would increase your life a lot and the risk is so low? An example in the last year, everyone's worked from home now, most of the time, right? So it's like, there's a situation where it's like, okay, you're on site and other jobs are work from home. And it's like on site, oh, you really hate it. It's the worst, and it's like, well, okay, what are you risking? Well, if it's the same pay, let's say, you're not risking any pay. If it's similar job, if it's similar, in everything except for it's work from home. It's like, and the worst case scenario of your current job is like you're on site. It's like you're already living your worst life. It can only get better, right? So it's like, this is where you would be. It's kind of like you're living your worst life, so why not try for a better one? And this is where I talked about like life paths in my life paths video. It's like, if you're living like a really bad life and you have a decision point here of, hey, a new job just came available that I'm kind of interested in. If you don't take it, you're already on this trajectory. If you don't take it, you know where you're going. But if you do take it, and it's work from home, you know that will increase your life and improve your life, right? You could have a pivotal moment in your life. So it's like, if you're already, you know, what's the risk to reward of taking the job, not taking the job, of the new job? Well, first you got to apply. You have to actually get the offer, and you have to actually accept it. There's lots of stages. You got lots of time to think of this. But are you living your worst possible outcome or close to it? Because if you are, it can only get better. General, in a sense. It most likely will get a lot better. So you might as well, right? For me, it's like, you know, I'm, you know, decently paid. And if I wanted to continue up in my, you know, leaning structure of a ladder system from the previous video, I would have to take on a lot more responsibilities, right? I have to manage, like, say, 6 to 7 people, let's say, just to make an extra, like, 5-10% income before taxes. It's like, it's not worth it to double my responsibilities or triple them and have more responsibility of people and the way things go at work or whatever. For me, that risk to reward looks like this. It looks like a lot of bad things could happen, such as, you know, potential to get fired easier, or screw ups, you know, are more major, or headaches are a lot more, or, you know, whatever that may look like, for like a little bit of money, right? Just a little bit of money here. Not worth it for me. That's my risk to reward, right? It's like double responsibilities, double headaches, you know, quadruple the amount of work I got to do, or whatever that looks like. I don't know. For a little bit of money. Not worth it. I'm happy where I am. I do YouTube videos, I do investing, I do businesses, I do whatever to make that extra money, rather than having this happen in my life, right? It's like, if I'm already up here, it's like I could squeeze a little bit higher, just a little bit, right? Or I could just stay right here and just flatline in my job, let's say. I'd do that, right? Because I might get this much more income, but I'm also going to have that much more stress. So my view, it go down. Income go up, you know, stress go up. Not a good thing. Stress outweighs my income. So that's a job situation. It's like, it's kind of like you're kind of screwed if you do or don't do it in either way. So it's like, you have to make a decision of doing it or not. It's not like, oh, I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist, right? It's like, if you're already on the trajectory of going down, you might as well, because you're going to be screwed 5-10 years from now when you're still not happy, or whatever that looks like, right? So that's kind of the job situation. Sure, there's financial situations too, where it's like, well, I could put $1,000 into, you know, Apple or Tesla, whatever, into like a stock, or into crypto, or into business, or whatever. I could put 1,000, right? And it's like the maximum. This is a financial type of example. Maximum I'm going to lose 1,000. The maximum I'm going to gain could be infinite. It would be the best case scenario. You have infinite money forever, right? Likely that won't happen. The best you could gain, let's say you think that you could have like 30-40K off that 1,000. Worst case, you lose 1,000. Best case, you win 30 grand, or somewhere in between. In stocks and such, in investing, you get somewhere in between. It's not like a lottery ticket where it's like, you know, either you win 3 million or you lose it completely. It's not. No, it could be anywhere in here. It could also be anywhere in the negative here, right? You could just lose 500, right? Before, let's say, you take out or whatever. It's like, why wouldn't you? The risk to reward is there. And you don't really want these ones that are 1-to-1. It's like, I'm putting 1,000, I might gain 1,000, I might lose 1,000. Not great. You know, it's like, I may double my income or have no income. Not great. You don't want those situations, right? This is very similar in both senses. So this bottom one here is flipped the other way. So to give you an example of this, and it was a really great quote. I believe Jack Black said it in a quote. I forget if it was in an interview where, but basically he said, and I've kind of seen this and lived through this in the last few months here. He said, I believe this is a quote. Don't quote me on the quote. Don't try and make a happy kid happier. He said, if the kid is super happy, right? Super happy. And he gave an example, I believe. It was about He saw his kid playing in the dirt, toy cars and little like $5 cars or whatever in the dirt, having so much fun. And he thought, oh well, why don't I just give him like one of those ones you can drive in? I can make a huge dirt track. I could get a big train, one of those like RC cars, that type of thing. Why not give him that? So he went out and bought a bunch of stuff, came home, set it all up, and put his kid there. And the kid just looked at it and he's like, I was having fun with the dirt, right? And it's like, well, you just kind of like, you tried to get this, but really it looked like this. The kid he gained so much happiness just playing in the dirt by himself that you tried to squeeze that extra like 5% of fun because what you thought was fun would be fun for him, but it wasn't. It's like, you basically could lose all the happiness and it could go the other way, right? The kid was fine, playing in the dirt. It's like the risk to reward just wasn't there. The kid was already maxed out of happiness and you're trying to pinch for that last little bit that he was happy about. It's like you thought it looked like this, and it ended up looking like this, right? Where it's like he was happy here and you thought he was happy here, and you ended up just flipping this whole ratio in that example, and this this happened, right? It just wasn't happening. And I think it was Jack Black quote. Anyway, that's the idea. Is like, you want to understand the risk to reward so you don't do ridiculous things that make no sense. And you always want to understand, what am I risking here by going to this meeting? What am I risking about, meeting this person for lunch, or, going on a date? Or what am I risking about, let's say you have a $5,000 vehicle and it's like you could buy like a $40,000 vehicle, but really like both vehicles get you to the same place. It's like, well, you're risking $35,000 in order to get to the same place. Doesn't make sense, right? You barely use your vehicle. Why would you spend a lot of money on a vehicle? In my opinion, you wouldn't. Doesn't make sense. Risk to reward, right? So anyway, that's what I want to share with risk to reward. Check the idea, check the mentality of it, and understanding of it. What are you risking? What is the reward? Are you living your worst case scenario already? It can only get better. Or are you living the best case scenario and you can only screw things up? So anyway, that's what I want to share this video. Thanks, and talk soon.